Boneworks' successor BONELAB is shaping up to be one of the most revolutionary and important VR games ever made. So today I'm going to be breaking down the recently released teaser trailer, as well as looking at the Steam page, which is a wealth of information. I will also be talking about why I think BONELAB is going to be such a big deal. The teaser starts off with the player adjusting his headset and then picking up this cube with various numbers on it. And you're standing in a room that is full of what seems to be void energy. We then see the player use their hands to morph their avatar, and from the Steam page we also know that you can set your own custom avatar, so perhaps this is only a thing that you can do with the starter avatar, and if you have a custom avatar, I'd guess that you probably can't do this. Also, it seems that you can collect various other in-game avatars that they have also made for you, so possibly some of those morph as well. The player then walks through various environments which seem to be some sort of modern medieval fantasy mix. And then we see this shot right here, which looks absolutely insane. I'm honestly not quite sure what I'm looking at. This seems to be some sort of super high quality foot IK. I honestly have never seen anything quite like this in a VR game. This looks really, really good. The next important shot is this one right here, and this seems to be the main melee enemy in BONELAB. And to be honest, these enemies didn't really strike me as looking all too great, and I still don't think they look as good as the enemies in Boneworks, but whatever, they don't look too bad. Next up, we get a look at the Skeleton Inmate, which personally I think looks much better, and also you can break them into pieces, which is super satisfying. We get a release window, and then we are introduced to the BONELAB itself. We see arena, tactical trial, and mods areas. So yes, this game will have official mod support. The Steam page describes the BONELAB like this. After discovering an underground lab in MythOS City, you have access to a variety of game locations, including arenas, obstacle courses, tactical trials, sandboxes, experimental modes, and user-generated levels. Collecting items, avatars, and clues from these locations enable you to progress through the mysterious story. I don't know about you, but this all sounds really good to me. I really think that a new emphasis on user-generated content could take this series to a whole new level. On the Steam page, we see this screenshot right here, and to the left we can see a poster that seems to say Fantasyland, which is an unfinished game being developed by the in-game version of Stress Level 0. And we know that the cracks in this unfinished game can be used to access the void. Next up, I'm going to read through the Steam page for those of you who just don't want to do it. The story summary says, sentenced to death, you embody an outcast escaping fate. Discovering a pathway to a hidden underground research facility, a series of challenging experiments and discoveries await. A road to truth calls from the void. I think the term embody used there is pretty important. I feel like VR games that allow you to actually be the character instead of play the character are far more immersive. It then says be anyone you want. Custom avatar importing enables you to play through the game looking however you want, with physical stats to match. I think the ability to pick or import any avatar you want and then use their physical attributes is going to be a big immersion booster. And I really think that whole concept is really ahead of its time. Next up, it talks about the physics. Boneworks' realistic physics system, fully improved and polished, interact with the game world with consistent confidence. Boneworks' interaction systems were already amazing, and I can't wait to see what they've done to improve them. It also says, using a variety of ranged, melee, and exotic physics weapons, engage enemy encounters with an entire armory at your disposal. Now personally, I'm really hoping that they add a lot of new interesting weapons. Now there are a lot of really fun weapons in Boneworks, but a lot of them just feel like the same thing copy and pasted with a different model. For example, there's these two guns that are very similar, the pistols are decently similar, these two axes are literally the exact same thing, the knives don't have a lot of difference between them. I just am really hoping for a lot of new variety. And I think the new shotgun that we saw in the teaser will provide some of that variety. But now, we're at the part of the video where I want to talk about why BONELAB is going to be so revolutionary and why it's such a big deal. In my opinion, VR is the future of both gaming and entertainment. VR also has massive potential both in the medical and education fields. And we are just getting started. Today's VR technology will appear extremely primitive in just 5 years. That being said, BONELAB is not the final product. In fact, it's very far from the final product. But instead of focusing on all this metaverse BS, instead we should be focusing on furthering VR, which is exactly what BONELAB is looking to do. Now, to be clear, I think that it's almost inevitable that a huge, expansive, immersive 3D interconnected network is coming to VR, but it's going to take at least a decade. Imagine the Oasis, but maybe with less consistent art direction. Now personally, I am obsessed with this concept, and I have been for years. It's my self-proclaimed goal in life to assist in the construction of this simulation. But the technology to build it simply isn't here yet, and won't be for at least a few years. So the best thing that we can do right now is advance VR. And this brings us back to BONELAB. Why is BONELAB going to be such a big deal? And the answer to this is actually rather simple. It's a highly customizable advanced VR game which is fun to play. And these three attributes are something that it shares with this highly immersive interconnected network that I've been talking about. In fact, BONELAB is the first VR game ever made to have these three attributes. Boneworks was fun and it was advanced, at least in concept, but wasn't very customizable. And BONELAB sets out to change this, both with official mod support and custom avatars. Now, I was really hoping that BONELAB would have some sort of co-op mode, which would really push the game into a whole new level, but unfortunately it doesn't look like it's going to have any. But either way, hopefully BONELAB will be a huge success, and push other studios to take more risks and not be so worried about things like motion sickness. If VR studios are continually obsessed with making sure that the VR experience is comfortable for your grandma, the VR industry will not be pushed forward. Instead, it will just get pushed deeper into the leg-free, arm-free, fall-free, jump-free, fun-free rut that is currently in. Boneworks serves to get at least a few games partially out of this rut, though none of them really came close to the level of quality that Boneworks provides. Hopefully, BONELAB will make large enough ripples in the industry for other games to follow suit and strive for that higher level of quality. But that wraps up the video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.